Well, hello and welcome to the Beyond Average Journeys of Growth and Increasing Value interview series. I'm your host, Kristen Carlson, and today I'm joined by Shawn Best, who's the owner at Bay Area Innovations in Tampa, Florida. Shawn's expertise is in new product development with an exceptional understanding of the product design cycle and proper methodology to navigate a successful product launch. So Shawn, thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So would you like to kick it off with just a brief background as to who you are and what you do?
Um, yeah, I guess so. We've been doing this for 16 years now at Bear Innovations, and we we're doing product development, prototyping, production. We go across multiple different product categories, and the process seems to be the same, regardless. So yeah, we employ a lot of engineers. Even our business dev and project management team is often comes from the engineering side of things background, and we work hand in hand more as a partner with our clients to try to get their products successfully launched.
Awesome. So how big is your team now?
I think we're up to 11 or 12 at this point in time.
Excellent.
Still growing.
Awesome. So do you have growth plans for this year too?
Yeah, we're actively expanding across the state of Florida right now.
Okay, excellent. And are you on the manufacturing side then? Is that where your teams really drill in and have their expertise, or what type of products?
Yeah, so the manufacturing is just one side of it, right? And it's a very difficult side of it. But a lot of our engineering team is involved in the product development side of things where, they're inside the CAD programs, they're 3D printing, testing out things, coming up with documentation packages, solutions, working with clients and so on and so forth. The manufacturing side happens when we've got a good, product designed, we have retail packaging ready, all the testing and certifications are put together, and the clients are looking to ramp up production and get their first 1,000 or 10,000 units up and running. But yeah, it's just one facet.
Awesome. So who is your ideal client then?
Generally speaking, I'd say somebody who wants to take a product to market. So that can fall into multiple categories. We have a lot of startups that we work with, everyday people who are, working or running a business. They have an idea that typically solves a problem or creates some level of efficiency. And, we work with a lot of those individuals. And then we have a lot of small and medium-sized companies as well that they have a product line and they want to expand on that product line. So, they'll utilize our services to help in the, research and development, product development side of things. But when we get to, the production manufacturing side, they typically need less help because they're already up and running.
Okay, so I saw that you support the Tampa Bay Wave Accelerator program. Has that been some companies that you partner with when they're getting started?
That relationship, so the Wave's doing really good things, not only in Tampa, but across the state of Florida. And I would even say a little bit further than that these days. That relationship is more just, being involved in the community and helping out and providing any type of, guidance to any of the companies that need it. From a partnership perspective, we do partner with some companies, but our main focus is on physical product companies that have something physical and tangible. A lot of those companies that run through that program currently are in, the digital side of things, whether it's, software or cybersecurity, things like that.
Okay, interesting.
We help out.
So what inspired you to start the company back in the day?
I get asked this question a lot. And I've really boiled it down to, at a point in time, it was a financial reason behind it, but I basically evaluated or assessed what skills I had. And out of all, the list of skills that I had, I said, which one can I get paid the most for? And product development was the most valuable skill that I had. So that's where I started.
There looks like there's a word of advice in there. Any advice that you'd give a starting entrepreneur?
I think there's a season for learning and a season for earning. And I think if somebody wants to start a company, and I think they really need to assess or evaluate what skills they already have or what knowledge they already have or what industry they've already worked in, and leverage those items in their pursuit of a startup. I think that the biggest, one of the red flags I see is typically when, an entrepreneur or a startup wants to start something and they don't have any experience in that area. So I would say, yeah, figure out what you know, and find some space there.
And leverage your strengths, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So, what are some of the challenges that you've overcome running your own business?
I think there's a lot of challenges. Um, one of them is you have, even in starting a company where you're leveraging your skills or talents, you're going to come across a lot of different areas that you have no idea what you're doing, whether it's, business development or finance and accounting or marketing and sales. You're in my situation, but you're always going to come across things that you have no idea how to do it, and you're going to have to either learn or you're going to have to pay somebody else to figure it out for you. That's probably one of the major ones, but I think outside of that, your friendships, your family, where you spend time, how you spend your time, and it's a tough road. It's a tough road. Tough road.
And so, as you built your team, is that what you took into consideration to bring on a team that can do the things that are opportunities for you that are not your strengths?
So I think that's always the dilemma as you're growing, right? You either hire individuals to do a function that you can do really well so you can move on and grow, or you hire individuals to do a function that you have, you're not doing or don't know how to do. And I don't know which one's right or which one's wrong. I've had more success hiring people to do things that I already know how to do, and then me venturing out to do the other things and learn those things. That's been typically more successful. I think for a lot of reasons, especially as a startup, I think you really can't afford, in the earlier days, right? You really can't afford the expertise of somebody to come in and, do something without your oversight, right? So typically, if you're going to hire people, you're better off hiring them to do a job that you know very well, so that way you can oversee it while you're figuring out the other side of things. But I don't know what's right or wrong. I think it really comes down to resources, honestly.
Or maybe it's at different levels, you do it a different way, but I think that's great advice, right? So that you can still have oversight and comfort with that person you add to the team.
Yes. Yeah. Hopefully you get to a point in time, and we're there now, but hopefully you get, as a startup, you get to the point in time where you do have the resources to be able to hire somebody who's smarter than you in a specific skill set or a specific part of the company, right? And they can bring all those years of experience and implement, ideology and processes that, you may not be privy to, or may not have experience in, which can further catapult you, right?
Excellent. So as you built that team, how did you build your culture? What was important for the culture of your company?
I think that took years to figure out, and we're still figuring it out. It's a dynamic thing. You add one person, especially a smaller company, like us, 11 or 12 employees, you add one person, it can change the dynamics of the entire company. Um, and we're constantly evolving and changing. So that's constantly something we're assessing or addressing as a company as we're continue to hire. But it's you're looking for certain personality traits, you're looking for certain skill sets, you're looking for, we'll call them soft skills too. You're it's I don't have the magic bullet there. I'm not a great HR person. I have a great team today through just trial and error, and we've assessed how we got here, and we've tried to characterize that and characterize the individuals that are here and say, okay, these are the type of people we need. But as you start expanding, you start hiring for different areas of the business, you need people that are different than what we have right now.
Right. Different
So,
skill sets and different strengths.
yeah, which go with different personalities, right? Like somebody in biz dev has a completely different personality than somebody who's in product dev, typically. So it's an ever changing thing.
Right. I agree with you that every time you add a new player, you have a new team, right? So
Yeah,
it's kind of reevaluate and stress that culture that you want to maintain and keep as you grow. So, have you been able to maintain work-life balance as a business owner as you've been?
absolutely not. Absolutely
Okay.
not. I studied this for a long time, and I tried to compartmentalize work and personal, and fell miserably at it. And through some additional, like, just reading and just, I'm constantly trying to improve. I've really come to the conclusion that you shouldn't find a work-life balance. You should, find how they all can integrate into one life. And it shouldn't be a balance. It shouldn't be two things on two separate sides of the scale. Your life should just consist and just be. And um, I think the most successful people figure out how to best integrate their all that into one life and don't keep them segregated.
I think
So
that,
that's the approach I'm taking these days, and it's working. It's something I've implemented probably 2 or 3 years ago, and it's been beneficial, significantly beneficial.
awesome. I think it's well said, right? If you love what you do, or when you decide that you love what you do, then it becomes a part of that life, right? And
Yeah, and your friends
it's not,
become your business colleagues, and and it just all interacts, and your fun time or your spare time, you're still doing things related to the business because it's all the same thing. It's all one thing now, and you get your friends and family involved in the business side of things, and you convert your business contacts into friends and family, and it just becomes your life. And I think that's how it's supposed to be.
awesome. Awesome. And what strategies have you been implementing really to stay innovative, especially in your business?
Think there's different areas that we've had to focus on from an innovation perspective. So there's different strategies related to it. So, luckily from a product development perspective, like we're already the way that our processes are set up, we're constantly researching the market and the products and competitor analysis. So we're constantly seeing like the latest and greatest in all the different categories of products that we develop. So we're always being innovative just naturally through our process of product development. On the other side of things, when it comes to like business development or operations side of things, which are kind of like, there's 4 pillars of what we do, but from like a business development and operations side of things, those require a lot more like continuous education from my perspective, and even educating, my team, uh, and just learning best practices or new software or, so it's constantly going out. But in today's world, the information's there. Like, everybody's making podcasts. There's information everywhere. And it really comes down to like, how much time do you have and where do you spend it? Right. I mean, you can learn anything these days if you put the time and effort and energy into it.
So is there a focus then on professional development with your team? And do they come up with what they really want to focus on each year?
It's a joint effort in terms of like where they want to focus. The area of focus has to align with their goals and desires and their career. But it also needs to align with the goals of the company and like what we need. So they end up, because we're really good about positioning people correctly, they typically align naturally. Um, so I don't know if that answered it or not. It's a good question though. Good question.
Right, and are you focused on career growth for them? Do they see a career path, right? So they can grow within your company as your company expands?
Yes, and that's the nature of it because you start learning so much. So as we continue to expand, I'm constantly trying to pull our team, up, and then I encourage them to pull the next group up with them, and everybody should be pulling everybody up. So we have this culture of mentor mentee. So everybody should be in a position where they're learning from somebody and they're teaching somebody.
Excellent.
And it could be, depending on the situation, it could be different. But so yeah, we're constantly pulling people up, but we're also allowing room for like, where we can hire people externally that can be plugged in somewhere in the middle or at the top even. So we're being strategic when we pull people up to not over title them and create situations where we can't bring in high quality people. You know,
Awesome. So it sounds like there's
balancing that.
flexibility and agility in the model, but
Yeah,
growing the team is awesome.
it is good. You just have to keep in mind when you're growing a team, especially, we hire a lot of young individuals here and there. The only thing they know is what you've taught them. So you have to be considerate and cognitive of that.
Awesome. So what would you think separates you and makes your company beyond average? What is the key to your company?
I think it's the culture. I think it's the desire to be better. And it's it's tough because you want to take a moment and smell the roses and you want to take a moment and celebrate the wins. But as soon as, me personally, as soon as I get a win, I'm already looking over the horizon to figure out which mountain to climb next. And it's very short-lived for me. And I'm now to the age where I don't beat myself up over it anymore. I accept it as my truth, and that's okay. So I think that's really what separates us apart is that we have goals and expectations that are constantly evolving and constantly moving, and in reality we'll never achieve them because as we do we're just going to keep pushing them further and further out, and that's okay.
Do you have a success story you'd like to share?
From a client perspective,
Sure, or internally, or a team perspective.
yeah, I wasn't prepared for that one. From a client perspective, we have non-disclosures in place, so it's hard to kind of like piece those through. I really do enjoy seeing the products that we've designed out in the market. It's nice, walking into a restaurant or walking into, you know, a retail big box store and like seeing like, oh, we did that. Like that's cool. Um, it gets weird when you take pictures and people are like, why are you taking pictures of our kitchen from from the lobby? And it's like, well, and you explain to them I really enjoy that, that side of things. But, I find like true happiness in like watching my team grow and watching them like teach the next, or a lot of them will mentor with the colleges around the area and stuff like that. And it's you know we're we're constantly learning, we're constantly growing, like there's constantly these epiphany moments of like, wow. So we're basically creating this inquisitive culture within the company, but we're also like perpetuating that outside of the company as we interact with the community. And, one of the stories I always tell everybody is, my favorite character growing up was Curious George. Like that was my favorite. Like running around, getting into mischief, adventures, learning. He's just curious, right? And it's like trying to walk through life, with this mindset of like everything is new and you're just soaking it up. Which the opposite of that would be walking through life thinking that you know everything and you've seen everything. That's really sad. So I enjoy that, and I enjoy answering questions to the next generation and about engineering or product design, or we get into a lot of psychology conversations and life in general, and um, I really enjoy that. I really like that, and I like seeing my team do that as well.
It sounds like they're very empowered then, right? If they do have
Absolutely,
that curious culture. Well,
absolutely.
congratulations.
Thanks, I
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
so much for your time today, Shawn. It was great meeting you and learning about your entrepreneurial journey.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
To everyone watching, I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.